The new man is whispered to be someone in the government in Lagos State. Marriage is one institution created by God which seems to be under serious attack, like some people would say. A lot has been happening in society recently, like you see the pictures I'm showing you right now on your screen, which are celebrities you probably know if you are Nigerian. But of course, if you are not from Nigeria watching, probably in one way or the other, you know one of those you see right now on your screen. And of course, if you're a Christian, you know some of the people here on your screen. But today, we are discussing, of course, about celebrities and most especially the recent one that has been trending, AY himself, of course, of the AY Live, who is separating from his wife allegedly after a marriage of 20 years. It is my prayer and hope that this does not become a reality. But with the facts, of course, we are going to be discussing today on the video, it might seem to be that there is no returns. But let's get into the video today after the intro. When it comes to the comedy industry, he's someone that is very much respected and known, not just in Nigeria, but even in Africa. And also the other big name who are always seen to be as if their rivals, Basket Mouth, last 2 years, if I'm not mistaken, has long been separated from his wife. But we talked about that last time. If you hadn't watched my video last year, I'll pin it, of course, in the pinned comment for you if you're watching on YouTube to see our conversation on that. But today we are now talking about the person of AY. Let me talk about the genesis of all of this here for those who are new to this story. As at January, wife made a post on Instagram that was quite concerning, and this is what she said. She said, "The threat to my life is actually getting out of hand, and if anything happens to me, there is just one person to be held responsible. Headed to the police station." And on the caption, she says right here, "I think I have had enough." Now, this is not something to be happy about, and it's not something as well to be laughing about, but it's quite serious. Now, you might be wondering, why did she say what she said here? That's what I think I have an answer to. So let me take you back, of course, to the beginning of this particular situation. So reading as well here, AY said, "Many people believe that staying silent simply means that one is incapable of dealing with issues. He's been silent about a couple of things." We are going to look at that, of course, as we go on, because things are really becoming interesting. Projecting a negative narrative against someone who is not struggling to defend himself doesn't mean he is weak. Some of us are just logical enough to understand the difference between opinions, values, beliefs, and facts. AY really took time to write this particular post. "The personality and ability that I possess simply confirms that I have reached that stage in my life where I cannot be entertaining the public with deep personal family issues." Of course, talking about entertaining the public, recently you posted a video or a picture, forgive me, of someone you called your son. Apparently that is your sister's son. Was that a stunt? Yes, people are really concerned about your life because you're a public figure. And that's one thing about being a celebrity. You are celebrated and people just care about your business. You are trending, and guess who is talking about you? Being Real George. But let's look at it, of course, right here critically. He says here, "They just might be too much to handle concerning the individuals involved. Not even when I have a grown-up daughter who has access to social media. Her mental health needs to be protected from seeing things that she cannot be proud of." And this right here is true. You might notice as well, my dear friends, that sometimes I make some videos and after a couple of months or something, I remove them from my platform. I don't have to tell you that I have done so. But let me go on right here as well. Yes, without compromising, my family and I have found myself doing some things that I am not proud of today. It is one thing to watch my friendship/marriage for 20 years slip off my hands, but it's another thing for the parties involved to understand how to appropriate the blames in a space that is designed for most women to always play the victims and win. He's saying something really important here to get to the real bone of contention in this particular conversation. Yes, without compromising my family, I have found myself doing some things that I am not proud of today. He's not making an explicit clear on what it might be that he has done, but he's also making the point of where the women play the victim. Just like how we have looked at the person of Yul Edochie and May Edochie, and it's always being a conversation on social media like, hey, anything Yul does, you see those in the comments. Some people have even called, their names have now become Yul Edochie Tormentor or Judy Tormentor. But again, we are going to discuss about divorce, marriage, remarriage, and all of that as well in this series of videos, of course, I'm making on this subject. He goes on to say, I can tell you for free that no one is completely innocent enough to cast stones. So he's telling right, he's trying to make you understand that in both parties as well, no one is completely the innocent. He put it in capital letter, emphasis. So he's not innocent and the other party, of course, is not innocent. Or the parties involved in whatever way in this whole brouhaha are not innocent. Moving on as well, he said, presently, I am loving the way that lies about me in all the blogs are traveling faster than the truth. But my painful truth will eventually beat all the lies. Just like the whole idea of him posting and saying that this is my son. Everyone was saying that, oh, AY has a son outside his daughter. That's also a situation as well. I think he has 2 daughters as well. Very wonderful man, wonderful family. Now, what point am I trying to make with this here? Because the point here where he talks about truth flying in or lies flying in blogs is what brings us to this particular DM he sent to a blogger. Stella Corcus, we meet again. You know, we talked about Madam Stella when we were looking at the tall man from Awuchi, the one that was calling the short man from Uyo named recently in my last video. So this conversation now gets interesting. So he sent one of the blogs a message, AY, after she posted about their situation. You know, all these blogs, I'm about blogs. Me, I'm not. Who am I? Do you know me? Do I know you? I don't know you, don't know me. So I look at all of these things here and I discuss about them. So after the blogger posted about the situation of their marriage, AY sent the person a message. I was wondering, because for AY to get into the lady's DM to send her a message means that probably what she spoke about was quite, true. So let me read what AY sent to the blogger. So AY said to her, Stella, I have been ignoring your message on purpose since Saturday. Please, at what point in this life are you going to stay away from me and my family? You already did your worst yesterday. Doing all this eye service still will not land you in my good book. Go back to your sponsors. You are obviously a wicked person. You may have your monitoring and evil spirit everywhere, but whoever gave you this story should understand that I have the capacity and the reach to do it myself if I wanted to. Do you understand? Stop being forward. Make thunder no fire you. So he's affirming that the story that has been shared by this blogger might actually be true, because he's not refuting it. So he would have been the one to share it himself, but right now, of course, this blogger is the one doing so. So that's the story we are going to find out. If you really want to know what really happened, this might be the answer to what you are looking for. It says here, 3 beautiful ladies partially fingered in the breakup of comedian's marriage. Big Brother star pregnant twice for the comedian, and the second pregnancy caused problems before it was taken out. Yay! Musician's baby mama, you are accused of benching him severally despite being friends with the wife. A musician's baby mama benching him. Actor's wife, you are accused of warming his bed. There are receipts and the wife is mad at you for betraying her like this. Yay! The next one right here, fashion designer pimping for the comedian and banging his wife. Hey, these 3 people are part of those responsible for the crash. Don't ask me to keep quiet. The betrayals are too much from these stories. This is an Hollywood script and I'm writing for the premiere. Let's look at part 1. This video is becoming long. If you are watching at this point, you like gist too. I'm just reading the gist as well to you, my dear friends. Insiders are whispering how friends tried to save the crashed marriage of the laugh maker that is currently making the rounds. Sit back as you are taken through how the whole event played out the day she moved out. Friends allege that the madam of the house suddenly started returning home at ungodly hours and always dressed in very short attires. Sometimes she would come in at 2 a.m., 3 a.m., and she had no apologies or stories to back up her behavior. On one of those nights as she stepped in, the laugh maker was waiting for her, and when she came in, he asked her where she was coming from. But she told him that she owed him no explanation, and he raised his voice on her with a threat. You see where my first post begins to make sense? Raise his voice on her with a threat. I'm beginning to connect the dots right now. She ran outside and stayed there for a while and made the first post on Instagram that went viral. That post now, the one I showed you at the beginning of this conversation. Insiders allege that the post went viral and the friends immediately rallied around to save the situation. A top and well-connected friend visited and had a moment with Madame, and she was asked what the laugh maker did that made her want to leave. She alleged that she was tired and wanted more, and he had nothing to offer her. She claimed he had seized the car, but that was not so. The friend convinced both of them and took them out for dinner to try to make peace, but that dinner went seriously south, and while trying to talk, Madame shut down the laugh maker and he quietly left after a mini verbal brouhaha. Another time, the laugh maker was seated in the living room waiting for her with their baby in his lap. Oga turned to babysitter. She stepped in around 2 a.m. and there they had a verbal altercation and words were exchanged. Madame allegedly told him if he seized the car, new one would arrive the next day. Iwam! Friends rallied around again and 8 peacemakers took the fighting couple to dinner and had a long talk with them. Restaurants that are selling food over there. This dinner is becoming, you people will be praying for them to come every day. Dinner and arena this conversation. Let's go on as far to the next part. Are you still here? Okay, if you are still here, I join the next one. At the dinner with the 8 friends present, peace was reached and both parties apologized to each other, and their friends promised to fly them to the final of the AFCON in a private jet if Nigeria made it to the finals. Both Madame and the laugh makers excitedly said it would be great to attend. When Nigeria made it to the finals, all plans were made, but Madame did not show up at the airport and did not pick up her phone and was nowhere to be seen, and the friends who had arranged several peace meetings officially backed out of the scenario. Meanwhile, Madame continued with the mates' nights and allegedly boasted that if she wanted a house in Banana Island, she would get it. Egabatago. Even asking that money pass money. You want to go? Because she always arrived home with police escort to pick up things, and laugh maker was spotted always making videos of events as a spectator. So now we can tell that if laugh maker wants to say he's releasing his own truth or something for against the lies that are being told, one thing you would see if it becomes a social media brouhaha is him posting the videos that are being spoken about right now in this particular post. So watch out for that in case he decides to make it become a social media menace. But I would advise, my dear brother, if you are watching this AY, don't do it. Don't do it. There are some things that it don't happen, it don't happen. As a Christian, I will tell you, my dear friend, there has to be a way. I don't know if you are a Christian. Is he a Christian? Can you please? I'm not talking to you. I'm talking to the one behind there. Brother, agreed, boss. Okay. So probably he will not understand what I'm talking about now. Okay, I'll do it in the next video. Yeah, this video probably those who are watching it are not, they will not understand. We'll look at Bible next week. Okay. Exactly. Yes. Thank you, boss. Okay, so back to the main subject now. We'll talk about it in our next video. Let's look at the main story now, so I will not waste your time too much. She allegedly came and went as she pleased and could not be questioned. On a Monday, 2 weeks ago, she packed her things and said she was leaving and nobody could stop her. Now you see where that particular conversation of our post recently is talking about distance. Lovemaker's elder sister allegedly tried to talk sense into Madame, but she said that the marriage was no longer the same because his behavior had pushed her to do things that she could not undo. His behavior had pushed her to do things that she could not undo. You see, Christian marriages, I think we need to talk about this. Guys, how about, I'm thinking of something. I want to invite a pastor. A pastor friend I know from this space, not a big name I would say, but I think he's someone quite respected. Pastor Itaudo. Either I'm going to check on I think I will talk to him about a couple of things. I think we need to do a live or something so that, I get to discuss with him about a couple of things that are happening on the platform, so that you'll not be hearing me all the time, every time, George. So we get to just have a chat as well, and then we talk about biblical stuff. But me, I'm not pastor, so that I can, because tomorrow if I'm now doing only church stuff, you people will not know that I talk about other things. But that's an idea I have been nursing in my mind, to also bring a different vibe as well to the platform and the community over here. So that is also important. She packed and zoomed off with her friends and a policeman escorting her to her new destination. She also informed Lovemaker that she had contacted a lawyer to see to the divorce. The new man is whispered to be someone in the government in Lagos State. It is also alleged that Madame briefly romanced a Big Brother Naija housemate, but the affair ended when the Lovemaker warned the reality star to stay away from his wife or get what is coming to him. Friends who tried to make peace say the blame to the marriage breakup is 50-50, but the Lovemaker was too in love with his wife to notice that someone else come to his tree to pluck his fruit. Insiders say that those praying for them to come back as a couple should change their prayer point because things have fallen apart and the center cannot hold again. Things have fallen apart and the center cannot hold again. This is a point for you to say what God cannot do does not exist. I want you to type that in the comment section. You believe in that now? Shebi? I'm not against you, but if you say nothing is impossible with God, yes, nothing is impossible with God. Hey, people will now start to connect it with the recent video I was talking about, drinking tea with God. Hey, this is my audience. I can think into your brains for those who have been following me for a long time. What do I have to say about this? From this conversation now, you are seeing the dynamics of what is going on here. When the Bible talks about the subject of divorce, separation, in fact, even for them, before they even got to the point of divorcing, who was benching first, whether he was benching first allegedly or Madame was benching first allegedly, either way, there was a benching somewhere in the beginning. Why am I using benching? That is someone's word. My one is there was rampam. There was rampam somewhere in between, and that is also a ground for which you can actually get to divorce as well. But again, we'll discuss about this in a separate video. No be like say I don't marry, no be like say I even plan to divorce when I marry. Even though in my next video we are going to discuss about this in a more detailed sense, talking about divorce, marriage and all of that. I think when it comes to this here, like AY said, none of the either parties is innocent. Whether he was benching first or this one was had to bench second, or whether AY's attitude, of course, pushed her to do what she has done and she cannot undo, it's different for like when it comes to a man. Again, someone will now say feminism, equality and all that. Either ways, if one person is doing something and you now justify you doing the same thing because that other person has done it, it now gets to really emphasize on the foundation of the marriage itself for both of them as couples. 20 years is not 20 days. So what would the man be looking for outside? What would she be looking for outside herself at this point? But you see, that's one thing, of course, here when it comes to people that are in the public light. You have attention, of course, many people know you. The woman can decide to change man if she wants. Look at these celebrities right here. Israel every day has been always crying on Instagram about this is one wife that I will not hear. The way I'm looking at Israel, probably he will go back to this woman the way he's always crying. Look at you, Ledoshie own. You people will not even let him rest as well with his own. Now, you have now make him to now become man of God. Now, Nasir. Now, AY itself, even aside AY itself, look at Funke. But either ways, at least that they are doing well in their respect. But let not these people become a model as well for you to see marriage to either be something that shouldn't be gone into or something. Human beings would always be human beings. But again, depending on that for which you are living by, are you being led by the Spirit of God, or are you being led by the world system and your flesh? This right here is just a system of what the world itself has turned into. If divorce was in the Bible as well, divorce of course can happen. God himself that you worship was once a divorcee. This is a very hard statement I just made now. And for Christians who are watching me, you can do this assignment before we come on our next video. Do you know that God himself was a divorcee? I pray there could be peace and then things can be mitigated. But when she is saying, allegedly, that she has been pushed to do things she cannot do, and already a big man is already, you understand? At this point right now, the best she can ever get from whatever she's doing herself would not be a union. You will still be someone else's first, second wife, or third wife, or side hand. We have looked at the one of that other Yoruba person, Messi. It happened. But don't let these things that is happening on social media become a model for you, a Christian.